Hey y'all, SherriG. Welcome back to the channel. So look, I'm going to grace you with another video from Love and Marriage Huntsville. Actually, it's from this Saturday's past episode, season 6, episode 14. And the segment is Courtney and his mother. Can I tell you, this particular segment was, to me, it was my most favorite. It was so touching and so endearing. And I'm going to give some commentary on that in just a minute. Just keep in mind that the views I express in this video, they are alleged. It's of opinion. It's for fair use. It's for entertainment. It's for all that jazz. So yes, when I saw the segment between Courtney and his mother, it was very touching. I have to say that at this particular point in time, I really love Courtney's mom. And I'm glad that we got to see her. She was a breath of fresh air. And the exchange between him and his mother reminded me of the type of exchanges we would see on past episodes when we did see Miss Van between her and Mel. And those are the episodes we missed. And when I saw this exchange between mother and son, this reminded me, or it reflected more of the Black excellence that I think we were promised, the type of conversation that we want to see happening between not only a mother and a son, but all of the individuals, especially when there is conflict. I love the way his mother sat with him and he felt comfortable enough to open up what was really going on with him as it pertains to him and Stormy and their having another child. Because if you guys remember, there was a point in one of the episodes, I forgot, but it was this past season, earlier on. I think it might have been the first or second episode of the season, something like that. But they were at loggerheads as to whether or not they wanted to have another child. Stormy really wants to have another child. Courtney doesn't. And his reasoning was because of everything she went through. Like, it was a tumultuous ordeal for Stormy. He felt like she was near death, and it just horrified him that, she went through a lot in her body and that he might have lost her. And he claimed that that was the reason he didn't want to go through that again. And then when Stormy suggested surrogacy, he was against it because he said if he ever had his own child, another child, he would want it to be their own child. And Stormy was saying, but this is your own child, but anyway, Courtney just wasn't hearing it. And he kind of shut her down and walked away. And when we were sitting back looking at it as the viewers, it just seemed like it was a moment where he just totally disregarded her. And he was just being really, really hard on her. And the way he dealt with the situation at that particular point in time, it seemed like he had no regard for her feelings at all. Like, he didn't consider her feelings at all. And allegedly, my opinion is he didn't at that time regard her feelings at all. However, when he was sitting and having this moment with his mom, and they were sitting talking about everything, first of all, her whole aura to me just seemed so calming and inviting. I could see how it would be easy to sit down and have a conversation with her. Her voice was smooth. It was just very inviting. It was just very enlightening. She just seemed to be really, really open, and not just open to Courtney's feelings and what he was going through, but what I really loved about it is how she was open to Stormy's feelings and what she was going through and how she was moving through it. Although her perspective came from being a single mother, being his mother, and also being a woman. So those three different perspectives is what she was looking through this whole situation through. So when she began talking to him, she was saying that, she loved the way he and his son Chess. She adored their relationship. She could tell that they had a close bond, and she could tell that, things were good between them, and that their relationship was a solid relationship, that he was building that with his son. And she was proud of him for that, because evidently, allegedly, he did not have that type of relationship with his father. And so as they began to talk, she said, I know that, Stormy wants to have another child and you don't. And I feel that your reason, your feelings about it is a little deeper than what you initially stated. And I'm paraphrasing all of this, guys. I'm paraphrasing all of it. I don't have the audio clip or anything to follow up with it. I'm just going straight from what I recollect from that segment. So again, this is all alleged. This is my opinion, and I'm paraphrasing the words that were spoken, just to give you some context. But anyway, Courtney then says to her that yes, he's just afraid of what might happen. Like, he's afraid that, they have their son together, but suppose they don't make it and they have another child. So now here's another child that, would have to be, how do I say it? Have to experience life without both parents living in the same home. And she got him to see, like, well, suppose you do. I mean, you guys have a strong marriage. You have a strong relationship with your son. And even if they do break up, he is not the same person. He's not built from the same cloth that his father was built from. And so, in my opinion, I think that Courtney learned a lot of things from his mother. He taught himself a lot of things. He actually mentioned that in his little, confessional, the little outtake where they interview the castmates. He actually stated that he learned a lot of things. Like, he taught himself how to play basketball. There was just a lot of things about just being the man that he learned himself. But I'm sure there's a lot of things he picked up from his mother as far as parenting and having a good solid relationship with your children or his child, because he learned that from his mother, because it is obvious, and in my opinion, that is the type of relationship he has with his own mother. And so Courtney went on to say that she was right, that he was affected by his father's lack of presence in his life, and that he was always hurt that he wasn't there for the games. He wasn't there to teach him things like how to play basketball, how to tie a tie, and that it would always hurt him when he was off with his team. And all of their family members, their dads would show up to watch them play, to cheer them on and everything like that. But his dad wasn't there, that he always felt some type of way about that. And he always felt hurt about that. So, and he actually began to shed tears. So not only was this a tender moment between a son and his mother, we got to see a tender side of Courtney, which I appreciated, because the other gentlemen on this show haven't really showed us that. They haven't showed us that. They're just hardcore, straight to the bone, in my opinion, misogynistic, narcissistic type gentlemen, that they don't really show that their emotions swing from either they're happy or they're just going off on somebody or being sarcastic, controlling. But we just never see the tenderness that we saw between Courtney and his mother. And I especially appreciated seeing that tender side of Courtney, because quite honestly, my last impression of Courtney was when I saw him going off, and this was on live. It wasn't even on the show, but it was after the show, outside of the show, when he was going off on the live that Stormy recorded and posted. The situation that happened at the warehouse with the bloggers. So, Black Titanic. So that was my last impression of him, and that wasn't a good impression. So it was just really good to see that he does have this tender side, and that if nothing else, he does have his mom that he can talk to and his mom that he can run things by. And, that she could help him see the other side of things or just get down to the truth of what was really bothering him. And I commend Own for not cutting that out, because this is an example of what we want to see. It's such a good, to me, this was like the best thing out of that whole episode. And the other thing I loved about this whole episode, or this particular segment, was the fact that Courtney's mother, when she was speaking to him, she was encouraging him, telling him how good of a father he was and how proud she was of him, how he wasn't the same as his father, and that he needed to hold on to those things. But not only that, she also told him that he needed to consider Stormy's feelings as well. So this, again, I can't say it enough, was to me by far my most favorite segment of the entire episode. And it's one of my most favorite segments of the season so far. So again, kudos to Own. Hopefully we'll get to see more moments like this. The other mothers on the show, they don't give us this. I'm sorry. It would be interesting to see the dynamics between Courtney's mother and Stormy's mother. But anyway, it was a blessing to see Courtney's mom. And even at the Black Expo, when she was encouraging Stormy that, Stormy was a little nervous that she wasn't going to, things weren't going to go right over at the warehouse because she wasn't there and Courtney was running things. And she was concerned, like her head was all over the place. But her mom was encouraging her that she had things under control here, that he had things under control over there. Don't worry about it. Everything would be good. So anyway, we might hopefully get to see a little bit more of her before the season is over. Don't know if there'll be a next season, but once again, this was my favorite segment of this last episode. Hey y'all, hey. So I know I said I was going to end the video, but I'm back. I actually found a clip after I recorded my earlier recording of Courtney and his mom. I'm going to go ahead and let you listen to that. And then I'm just going to leave you with that. Again, please don't hesitate to like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. I'll be back. Enjoy the exchange between Courtney and his mom. The reason why I wanted to come back and actually upload the audio of it is because I know that there are a lot of you on blackout, and so you might not have seen or heard it. So I just thought I would just add it in here so that you could enjoy it. So enjoy, and I will talk to you guys on the next video. Ciao.
I'm in the kitchen. What you doing? Hey, Courtney.
Hey, Mom.
How you doing?
All right, what you doing?
Just pretty good. Go get some coffee. You want some?
We trying to get this warehouse right. You got some sugar?
I put something in there. I don't know if it's enough. If not, I'll put some more in
Coffee
there.
finna have me up all night.
Oh, Lord.
It'll be all right.
Sometimes it can be hard, but, most of the time, hey, you got to think about you, the business, your family.
Well, Stormy been pressing about having another baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Any conversations about,
Nah,
circumcision again? Like, I know she talked about, maybe she, don't want to carry another baby.
We talked a little bit. I always try to curve it. Mm-hmm. She tried to talk to me about it, but I don't even want to hear it.
And you just push it off.
I push it all off.
Really? That don't make sense to me. And it don't have to. It have to make sense to me.
I can't talk about it right now. My thing is, I know for my family, I want to just probably just break the curse. You know what I mean? Because I know you was a single mom, so I just know I want to just make sure my family stay real tight and close.
When it come down to family, you just got to just step in and do what you have to do for your family and stuff. And sometimes the system ain't on your side, but you can't think about that. You just got to do what you have to do. Whether it's working 2 jobs, whether it's making meals out of a little bit of nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then at some, it's times when I had to choose whether I needed to buy medicine over going to work. Used to having money for gas and stuff. So, and it worked. I didn't think, at one point in my mind, I was like, Lord, is this going to work? As far as me raising kids, myself being single, but it worked, and it works. Yeah.
I'm not saying that we're going to get a divorce or anything like that. I just want us to, I won't want me to be a single parent or to be a single parent. So I want us to always just be close.
I know how it feels to grow up without a dad. I know. When you're a parent, you just try to guard your children and you want them to be safe and not, sad and stuff. And so do you think that feeling abandoned by your dad, do you think that has a lot to do with why you may not want any kids right now? That's something that you want to pass on to your son and do all the right things by him. No matter what it is. I remember one day we had a conversation where you told me, if I ever have a child, I'm going to be the best father. And I think you have been. I think you're doing the best that you can do, So that's something, that you didn't have with your dad, so. Yeah. And he did. But you know what? That's his loss. That's his loss because he missed out on something so amazing. He really did.
See my teammates with their dad.
Mm-hmm. When we used to play basketball.
Not having my dad, I had to teach myself just to play basketball the right way. Tying a tie or even changing the tire on the car. I just wish it could have been better when he was alive because there's still some stuff that we didn't ever get a chance to talk about that could have been better for both of us. I definitely don't want, the chance to be fatherless, so I'm going to be the best father I can be and be the father that I never had the chance.
It's okay to feel how you're feeling, but then that means that you're dismissing how she's feeling. So that means you need to be open to how she's feeling at that moment. That's what husband and wives do. Sometimes you got to put your feelings to the side to listen to her, even though you may not want to discuss it. Because, y'all men are good for that, pushing stuff to the side. You and her need to have a conversation, just the two of you. Okay, me personally, if I had to do it all again, I wouldn't have spreaded my children out, because there's a connection, not really back to back, but at least 2 to 3 years apart. Siblings lose connection if they're spaced out like that. Y'all just gonna have to come up with some kind of mutual understanding because, that can cause a fuss, but y'all got to be on the same level, you want to, do the right thing.
Hopefully it don't be that bad.
Family is everything. Family is important. So that's something y'all need to, talk about.
Talk to them.
Maybe sooner than later.